everyone, we are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I am Vince.
Vince, today I saw an article saying that Peter Parker has lost his job. Yeah, I know. This doesn't seem newsworthy to me. I'm sort of like, I don't make the papers when I lose my job. you know, like if that happened to me, like this just in, Captain Logan fired from GameStop. I mean, like really, who cares? Except for me.
Hasn't Peter Parker been fired like a bajillion
like a
times?
Bazillion times? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This strikes me as just another one of his. Well, Spider-Man is one of those characters where he has to face real-world issues. So a real-world issue is you get fired from your job. And, of course, the media is making a big deal out of it because it's like, okay, so we're in a bad economy, and so Marvel's decided to do a story on it. And they're really not, because he didn't get laid off. You know, J. Jonah Jameson actually flat out fired him. I haven't read the issue. I mean, I don't know anything about the issue. Well, I guess it hasn't come out yet, so... but whatever. Anyway, so I don't exactly know what the story... And I haven't been following Spider-Man lately at all anyway. But what the article I read on Sci-Fi Wire said was that Peter Parker got into some kind of a falling out with J. Jonah Jameson and he got fired. So why is this relevant at all?
I know.
Yeah?
I know.
Yeah?
Because everybody's bored.
Apparently, yeah. Is it just a slow news day?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It must be. We're doing a whole video on it.
Oh,
No, we're really not. I wanted to use this as a springboard to talk about a larger issue, which is media and comic books. And the question for today is, why does the media get a hold of these kinds of stories and make a big deal out of them? And why is it news? Why does it become news? And of course, this is a smaller one than others that we might mention, right? Like Obama on the cover of Spider-Man, which was like, I mean, like it went through what 8, 9 printings.
And with Army of Darkness and everything.
Obama
was in Army of Darkness.
Oh, was he? Was there news stories on this? I mean,
I don't know if there's news stories, but Obama was in it.
Well, Obama was in a lot of things, but like I'm just talking about the media making a big deal out of things. The media made a huge deal out of, Obama is in, and of course the way they made it sound was that the whole issue was about Obama. You know, it wasn't. He was in like a few panels, but he was on the cover, and so they made a huge deal out of it. Once again, like I'm not exactly bothered by this. I'm just asking why. It strikes me as odd.
I have a couple theories.
All right.
I mean, first of all, I think that, particularly with the Spider-Man thing, it's gimmicky, and people will link gimmicky to clever. So they say, oh, look at me, I'm being so cute and clever right now, because I was able to say that Spider-Man got laid off when, of course, he wasn't. Not that that's really a big deal in my book, but it's just people saying, hey, I have something to say.
Yeah, I guess, and I kind of get it when a big character gets killed off, although so many of them have been killed off and brought back now that I'm not sure this will ever be newsworthy again, although don't tell that to the media because they might not think of it. But
worthy and fodder are two different things.
Sometimes I like to look into the future and try to get a sense of what's going to happen later on. So like Deadpool gets extremely popular 10 years from now. Deadpool is dead, like in the news, like a headline.
Deadpool drowns in a pool. Ooh.
What? Anyway, so Captain America died, and they made a huge deal out of it. Did you notice that Batman was not especially all over the press? I was surprised by this.
Well, I think part of the deal is, and I think this applies to both Captain America and Superman, they're symbolic of America. So people will look at
So you kill off Captain America, and it's like you killed America.
Yeah. In fact, I think that Marvel even had this big, not conspiracy, but everything conveniently worked its way around to where they killed off what they believed was old world American values. And they even had the Punisher dress up as Captain America, saying like we're some sort of vigilante state. So
because they're making a big statement, and so of course that is kind of newsworthy. It was more fair, I think, in the 90s when Superman died, just because nobody saw that coming. And
whoa, did you see that?
And at that point, it's not like comic stories made big news. You know what I mean? And so then it's like they're gonna kill off Superman. And the thing is, when they did it, the writers did not even know this was gonna be a big deal. I mean, they figured that it would sell comics, of course, but they didn't. I mean, they hoped, I guess, but they didn't figure like the whole country was gonna make a big deal out of it. and then it was huge. And it's funny too, because like if you read those news stories, and the same thing was true of Captain America. If you read those news stories, they read like someone real died. You know what I mean? It's like this just in. Superman is dead. Superman never was born in the first place. I mean, I'm just saying, and I know it sounds funny coming from me, but I'm just saying that if you look at this realistically, if you get down to earth for a minute, which I try not to do very often, but you know, if you just for a second, you know, bear with me, and you say, okay, Clark Kent is dead. Who's that? He's not a real person. I just think it's very interesting to me.
You know, on an interesting side note, bear with you. There was a California newspaper that had the bear that they used the voice from to make Chewbacca's noises. They had an obituary for the bear. There's a California newspaper that did that.
I had no idea that was a bear.
A bear that they severely chopped up the growls and turned into the Wookiee voice. And now people can imitate the voice. So why'd they even bother using a bear and then...
I once heard that the sound effect that they used originally to make the lightsaber sounds is a hairdryer in a metal bowl.
That's weird.
I don't know if that's actually true. I've always wanted to try it.
Don't touch the bowl; it gets hot.
Does this whole thing strike you as odd? Because it seems to me like the media on the whole probably doesn't really think all that highly of comics, right? And then all of a sudden, if something huge happens, well, we can get more people to read our stuff by this. But it seems like it's more like just a big commercial for Marvel or DC when it happens too. You know what I mean? Where it's like, is this really good publicity for you, or are you just like selling a lot of comics for another company? I don't know. I just think it's odd.
You know, I do think, just for publicity's sake, that this will be good for Spider-Man to be back in the news, regardless of whether or not the media is treating it like a joke.
Sure, although Spider-Man has been in the news lately just with the whole reboot thing. So I mean, people are thinking about Spider-Man. In fact, that could have something to do with why they even thought to make it news. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're just sort of like, oh, another Spider-Man story. We better pick that up. Possibly, I don't know.
I mean, with the comics after they split Spider-Man and Mary Jane up with this pact with the devil. Excuse me.
That was kind of in the news a little bit too, wasn't it?
I don't know.
A little bit.
But I knew a lot of people.
I mean, it was in comic entertainment news, but I think I'm not sure it spilled over into mainstream news. But but this thing we're talking about today, I think, is actually spilling into mainstream news, and I just think it's weird.
That is weird. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I think that this is evidence of the idea that media treats comic books like a big joke. But,
you think it's actually evidence of that?
Yeah. I mean, because if you go with the Superman and the Captain American deaths, but if you go at those, they took those seriously because those were big American icons, American characters that were newsworthy. But this is just people going, oh, isn't this cute, and we're being clever, and this is funny. So it's not taking comics seriously. Not that people can't take comics not seriously. I don't know. If you want to do something silly with comics, I don't care.
Sure. All right. I see what you mean. But once again, we've talked about this before. We even mentioned this in the podcast last week. Comic books are a medium, and some of them are going to be silly, and some of them are not. And every medium is that way, and should be. You've got subgenres of everything. But so I guess I'm not saying the media should take comics more seriously. I guess I'm just wondering why it's newsworthy. It's really all my question. Yeah.
I really do think it's just people being bored.
Yeah. It's slow. There's nothing happening. Well, what do you think? Why do you think the media jumps onto this kind of stuff? Leave us a comment in the comments below if you have any ideas. Also, if you have anything you'd like us to discuss or debate in the future, leave those as well. We'll have a podcast for you here shortly, and recommend video. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Vince.
And we'll see you next time on Geeks Not Nerds.